Most of us look up at night and see this serene, quiet canopy. We're taught that the universe, while vast, operates on orderly, understandable rules. But welcome to an explainer that's going to fundamentally change how you view the night sky. Because as we peel back the layers of deep space, the data's telling us a story that is far, far less comforting.
Listen to this. Somewhere out in the dark between the stars, billions of worlds are moving in silence, and some may not be empty. You might look up and think we live in a stable, predictable universe, but honestly, the latest data from deep space observatories is telling us something entirely different. We are finding objects that absolutely shouldn't exist, vast empty spaces that completely defy mathematics, and microscopic numbers that point toward inevitable doom.
So what if everything we know is wrong? What if the map we've drawn of our reality is just missing the darkest territories? Today, we're diving into the terrifying physical clues scientists have actually discovered. Clues that point to invisible, unexplainable, and unstoppable forces lurking literally just beyond our sight. We're going to treat every single fact today as a clue in a much, much larger mystery.
Okay, part 1. The scars of creation.
Let's start with the anomalies, the physical scars left on the universe that prove our maps of reality are fundamentally flawed. Think about this tiny temperature deficit, just 70 microkelvin. It was found in the cosmic microwave background, which is basically the oldest light in the universe, the thermal afterglow of the Big Bang. Cosmologists were mapping this light, fully expecting a nice, uniform blanket of ancient heat. But what stared back at them from the data, well, it stopped them cold.
Instead of uniform heat, they found this 1.8 billion light-year-wide cold spot. I mean, this is an impossibly massive region of space that is measurably colder than literally everything around it. Standard models of cosmology absolutely cannot produce a feature like this. It's like a wound in the fabric of creation. And you want to know the most unsettling explanation? Some physicists seriously suspect it's a literal bruise, a scar left over from our universe violently colliding with a parallel one.
But the mystery gets even stranger when we look closer to home at this thing called the Boötes void. It's a 330 million light-year expanse of space. Now, based on the density of the surrounding universe, tens of thousands of galaxies should be right here. Instead, astronomers can only find about 60. Natural cosmic voids are usually irregular, they're chaotic. But the Boötes void exhibits this mathematically impossible spherical emptiness. It is empty in a way that feels almost deliberate, leaving even mainstream astronomers quietly unsettled.
Part 2. Invisible monsters among us.
So those anomalies deep in space are disturbing enough, right? But what scientists discovered next shocked everyone because it brings the danger so much closer to home. We usually think of black holes as these massive remnants of dying stars. But there's another kind, primordial black holes. These were forged in the raw, violent chaos of the Big Bang's very first fractions of a second. They don't need a star to form, they don't emit any light, and they have no predictable position. These ancient killers could be wandering invisibly through our own galaxy right now. Actually, they might literally be the dark matter we've been frantically searching for all these years.
Just to put their stealth into perspective, imagine a primordial black hole with a mass of 10 to the 12th kilograms. That's roughly the mass of a mountain. But physically, it's microscopic. Because it is so unimaginably dense and tiny, one of these could theoretically pass straight through the Earth without triggering a single conventional alarm. We would literally only know it happened from weird, subtle seismic rumbles left in its wake, and maybe a few extremely confused geologists.
And they aren't the only wanderers in the dark. In 2023, the James Webb Space Telescope looked deep into the Orion Nebula and found something that completely shattered our models of planetary formation. They spotted over 540 massive rogue planets just drifting entirely without a star. They even found them traveling in pairs. They call them Jupiter mass binary objects, or jumbos. This proves without a doubt that billions of frozen worlds are moving in complete darkness. And since they can retain internal heat under thick shells of ice, some of these invisible nomads might not actually be dead.
Which forces us to ask an incredibly uncomfortable question. If these objects are wandering our galaxy by the billions, how many have passed through our own cosmic neighborhood already? We have absolutely no early warning system. There's no catalog of their trajectories. We basically have no way to know what invisible monsters are already here, just quietly slipping through the dark.
Part 3. When reality itself infects.
And that's where reality begins to break down entirely. We're moving from physical objects we can't see to the terrifying instability of matter itself. Theoretical physicist Edward Witten proposed what is quietly the most terrifying idea in modern physics.
What if the ordinary atomic matter that makes up you, me, everything we see, what if that's not the most stable form of matter? What if a perfectly stable configuration called strange matter exists? If a microscopic fragment, a strangelet, touches our planet, Earth wouldn't just blow up, it would quietly, entirely convert into a cold, dense sphere of strange matter. Just a silent wave of conversion with absolutely zero survivors.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how delicate our reality truly is. 125.9 giga-electron volts. That's the exact mass of the Higgs boson discovered at CERN back in 2012. Now, on the surface, this was a massive triumph. It was the missing puzzle piece of particle physics. But in the shadows, that exact number secretly horrified physicists.
Why? Well, because of that precise mass, the math tells us our universe is actually not in a stable energy state at all. It's metastable. It sits perfectly balanced on a knife's edge, completely vulnerable to a spontaneous catastrophic event known as vacuum decay. Vacuum decay is a quantum tunneling event where the fabric of space itself drops into a true lower energy state. Imagine a bubble nucleating somewhere in the cosmos. The moment it does, it expands outward at the exact speed of light. Inside this bubble, the very physical constants that allow atoms, stars, and life to exist are instantly annihilated. The fundamental laws of physics are simply rewritten.
The implications are terrifying. Because this expanding bubble of rewritten physics moves exactly at the speed of light, it would be entirely invisible until the literal moment it arrived. We'd have no warning, no flash of light in the sky, no final moment of comprehension before physics simply ceases to function. We would just stop. And you know what's crazy? It could have already begun a billion light years away, and the bubble could be rushing toward us right at this exact moment.
Part 4. The force unmaking everything.
But this raises an even bigger, more profound question. What if the destruction of the universe isn't some theoretical accident waiting to happen, but a guaranteed, unstoppable process that has already begun? Just consider the composition of our universe. Everything you have ever seen, touched, or loved, every planet, star, galaxy ever observed, makes up just 5% of the cosmos. The ultimate fate of existence is governed entirely by the 68% that we cannot see, cannot measure directly, and frankly cannot explain: dark energy.
The crucial piece of evidence here is this incomprehensibly massive number, 10 to the power of 120. This represents the staggering mathematical gap between what our absolute best theories of quantum mechanics predict the density of dark energy should be and what we actually observe it to be in reality. It is a terrifying disagreement of 120 orders of magnitude between our two most successful branches of science. As Nobel laureate Steven Weinberg pointed out, it's possibly the worst prediction in the history of science. We simply don't know what dark energy is, but we do know what it's doing. It isn't just pushing galaxies apart. Shocking, 2024 data from the Dark Energy Spectroscopic Instrument suggests it might actually be evolving, getting stronger over time. And if it really is getting stronger, it is actively driving us toward a specific, extraordinarily violent doom called the Big Rip.
If dark energy acts as this evolving phantom energy, the expansion of the universe is going to accelerate endlessly. And the countdown? It's brutal. Roughly 200 million years before the end, it overpowers gravity, tearing entire galaxies apart. 3 months before the end, solar systems are shredded. 30 minutes before, planets themselves are destroyed. And in the very final fraction of a second, it overcomes the strong nuclear force, tearing even subatomic particles open into an infinitely expanding fog.
And the wildest part is, we're already seeing the early stages of this. Every single galaxy outside our local group is accelerating away from us into the darkness, moving faster and faster until they permanently cross our cosmic horizon. They're becoming entirely unreachable. The universe is literally unmaking itself one horizon at a time, leaving us absolutely alone in an irreversibly violent void. And so we're left with the ultimate mystery. If the universe has already begun unmaking itself, would we even know? We inhabit a cosmos filled with invisible wanderers, mathematical impossibilities, and a dominant force we can't even name. It leaves us staring into the dark, wondering exactly what unseen force is already closing in on us, completely indifferent to our existence. The abyss is staring back. The only question is, what is it waiting for?